In a previous video, I gave an overview of this book, which is called Live Forever, and it has been written by Adrian Cole. So Adrian Cole, Live Forever. This is actually the title of the book. Now, the subtitle. So let's actually go to the top page here. The subtitle is. So Live Forever Manual 101 Practical Tips on How to Live Forever by Adrian Cole. Alright, so out of these 101 practical tips, I'm actually going to talk about or do brief videos, like hopefully less than 5-minute videos on a couple of these 101 practical tips, because I feel there is not sufficient information, even though you might feel that we are bombarded with information about health and longevity. There are very few people who actually go into the nitty-gritty scientific details. I'm going to try to stay somewhat, not necessarily at the surface level with these videos, but a little bit go in depth, but not too much, so that I would lose you as a potential audience member. Okay, so now let's actually go back to the first one that I want to talk about, and that is caloric restriction. Okay, so it is here. Caloric restriction. All right, so we have calorie restriction. Now, Adrian says that so many animal studies confirm that calorie restriction might slow aging by lowering the concentration of biomarkers leading to aging-associated diseases. In human studies, however, these kinds of results should always be interpreted cautiously, which is really good. It is critical that you are critical when reading scientific studies. And a lot of people think that a study is some sort of a gold standard, but if you know a little bit of statistics and also human manipulation and psychology, you know that a lot of studies are actually manipulated in certain ways. So be aware that the fact that something is called a study doesn't actually mean it's actually true or it speaks truth. Not only because researchers might be incentivized to manipulate data, which happens, but also because researchers, without their own knowledge, can fall prey to human biases. So it is really important to learn how to critically read scientific studies, but more on this in maybe previous video, in future videos, if this is actually something of interest. Now, calorie restriction is not simply eating a little less. It is a dramatic reduction of calorie intake to the point where it requires significant planning to meet the body's nutritional needs. Undernutrition without malnutrition. Now, in this case, I would say that calorie restriction per se is very unpleasant, especially if you do it frequently. But there is a hack to this, and the hack is called fasting. So fasting or intermittent fasting, and a lot of you know what I'm talking about. But the easiest way to do caloric restriction is to intermittent fasting, or IF. So let's say, for example, that you are eating, I don't know, 2,500 calories per day, kcals per day. I personally currently eat between 2,500 and 4,000 calories, depending on the day. So, and I'm doing it in 1 or 2 meals. Now, intermittent fasting in this case would imply, so IF would imply that you consume all your calories in a certain window. Let's say, for example, if you're doing 18/6, it means that you're fasting for 18 hours and eating all your meals in 6 hours. So you're eating for 6 hours. But this is even easier if you go, so let me actually delete that. So if you do a 20 and 4, you're fasting for 20 hours and you're eating for 4 hours. Now in 4 hours you could either have 1 meal or 2 meals. It's easier. So if, for example, you're eating 2,500 calories per day just to maintain your weight, if you're doing an IF of 20 and 4, you'll be consuming 2,500 calories in 4 hours. If you divide that in 2 meals, you could have a meal of 500 calories and another meal of 2,000 calories. Now, don't tell me that a meal of 2,000 calories isn't something that you're looking forward to. So this would feel like a king. Now, for example, if you were to caloric restrict, let's say that 2,500 calories is your maintenance energy intake. Let's say if you do calorie restriction daily, so you're eating 2,000 calories, you'll be losing weight on a weekly basis on 2,000 calories if your maintenance is 2,500. So with the 2,000 calories, let's say you're having 2 meals. You could have a meal of 500 calories, the first meal of 500 kcals, and the second meal of 1,500 kcals. All right? Now, in this case, it could be even pleasant. So you would I call it like a hack, the calorie restriction hack, because if you're doing 2,000 calories, you could have 1 meal a day, so OMAD. This is also really popular, and a lot of people are doing it. Let's say that you're fasting for 23 hours and you're eating all your calories in 1 hour. So 23 hours, 1 hour. This means that you will be eating 2,000 calories in an hour. Or maybe you're fasting for 22.5 hours. So 22 hours and a half. And then you'll be consuming your 2,000 calories in 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours, which is sufficient time to eat 2,000 calories. Now, 2,000 calories in 1.5 hours, that is a lot. So you could eat whatever you want, but it would be wise, and I keep saying this, it would be wise if you eat good food, if you eat energy, so if you eat nutritionally dense food, okay? So calorie restriction combined with intermittent fasting, in this case, otherwise it makes you feel miserable. So calorie restriction combined with intermittent fasting is actually a very convenient way to lose weight. And as per this book, it helps you increase your longevity. So we can see that ease is quite easy. Cost, I would say that is cost effective, and impact, it has a lot of impact on your longevity. Okay, now let's see if there is anything else worth mentioning here. So Adrian says that aim for a body fat percentage of 18%. So 10% body fat for males and 80% for females. Eat foods that are high in nutrients but low in calories. Now this is really important, and I think you can find a lot of information. Just Google it. Just Google highly nutritious low calorie foods. Join the Calorie Restriction Society International for support and advice. So you have that over here. You have the link to the Calorie Society. Go 22.uk CR Society. All right, now that's it for this video. Maybe we'll look into chili peppers in the next video, or in some other interesting strategy to increase the longevity. As you can see, chili pepper, costly maybe, it's quite easy. Impact, it has some sort of impact here. Okay, so that's it.